Here.
Go ahead.
Okay. Do it. Just stand up here.
Stand
I've
by.
never been this.
Okay, stand by the, you got
Okay.
3 minutes.
Well,
Okay.
welcome.
Thank you. Thank you. I'm here on behalf of South Hills Pet Rescue. We've got a facility on Old Route 88 that's been there since the 50s. It's just recently changed over. We're 501c3 charity. We rescue out up to 800 dogs a year. We service Allegheny and Washington counties. Last year, we switched over the ownership of the property from the people that were running the rescue to a 501c3. So the 501c3 owns the property now. At that time, the township mandated that we disable our septic systems. We had 2 working septic systems that we maintained for years. The township engineer came in.
That wasn't this, it was a previous engineer?
Yes.
Okay.
Made us take out the septic systems and put in a holding tank. They also made us put in the downspouts into the holding tank. At this point, we're having to pump that holding tank monthly, if not bi-monthly, or twice a month, at a cost of $3,000 to $5,000 a month.
Let me just stop you right
After
there.
we spent $30,000 putting this in.
Well, let me just stop you right there. TJ?
Yeah.
I know that with this new situation involving stormwater, rain thing, I know that I've gone to seminars where you can take your downspouts and put them in some type of rain garden or something like that.
Yes.
You don't have to put those in holding tanks. In fact, you do that so that the water dissipates into the ground, correct?
Yes, it's very rarely are downspouts tied into sanitary sewer facilities.
I never
anymore.
heard of
That's
that.
Very much outdated.
That's what the
Well, they don't
previous
allow
engineer
you
mandated.
Peters Creek, you don't want to put your downspouts into there.
No, but he's putting his, they told him to put in the holding tank.
Well, I know, but if you put them in a septic, I'd be the same, he's putting them in a sewer.
Yeah,
I
the
know.
common
No,
tank
it's
that
not.
goes in its own leach bed.
But now I've gone to seminars, and these things started a couple of years ago.
Yeah, typically you tie the roof drains into a rock sump or some type of stormwater facility
And
to handle.
we're at the top of a culvert. So everybody else puts theirs into the culvert.
Okay.
But we were forced to put it into our holding tank. Or
Doesn't
we
make
were gonna be
sense.
shut
I
down.
don't have a good explanation for that.
Well, you know,
Without.
And it's about to bankrupt us. I mean, we're spending, you know,
when the housing project was put up Hobbit Lane up there, they had to put a sump by all those houses to catch the downspouts into them houses going up all
But
up
he's
Hobbit
talking
Lane.
one
They didn't-
building.
Pardon?
I'll be
we have
sure
one
to-
building, we have one person that lives there and we pump out 3,000 gallons a month.
How big is your building, by the way? How many square feet?
It's about 1,000 square foot house, and so it's about 2,000 square feet.
Wouldn't it be simple for him just to put it like, create a rain garden, just drain it into that?
Absolutely, yeah. Downspout disconnection should definitely take place, I would think. There's no,
And we were never offered to tap into the sewer system, which is 125 feet from our facility.
You weren't,
I tell you, they wouldn't allow your drain, your
No.
gutters to go into the
We
storage
wouldn't-
system
yeah,
anyway,
we'd
so
have
you
to
still
redo
have
all of
to,
that.
yeah.
but, so you're within how many feet?
125 feet.
And they wouldn't let you connect into
They
the.
never offered it. They
Is that
told
you-
us
is
we
that you
had
guys,
to do
John?
this or that.
mm-mm.
Yeah, we've
It's
already
South
talked
Park,
to Peter
isn't it?
Street
Overlook.
and South Park.
Overlook.
They've already
South Park.
agreed to allow us to tap in.
Okay, so why don't you tap in? and-
What we would ask is that, we're looking for some help on some grants and to be able to tap in.
Now, if they had storage, where would their downspouts go then? Right into the
Where goes-
ground,
where
right?
goes-
They would not
It
be
wouldn't have a
allowed.
holding tank, and it wouldn't go in the storage, so why would it?
No communities are allowing anybody to tie holding, or downspouts
I mean,
into
everybody that
sanitary
has
sewer.
storage doesn't have a holding tank for their downspouts, so I don't understand why his downspouts would go to a holding tank.
We
They
didn't
had a sump,
understand it
like I said,
either.
They put a sump, like a leach pad, a
Well,
sump.
that
that
doesn't
goes
even
to-
make sense, the folks are
For the house.
125, feet?
Did you,
125 feet away and you didn't tap?
We weren't even offered the
You know,
opportunity to.
that's plain stupidity. cut the pie any way
We
you
were
wanna
told
cut
that
it,
if we
it's
didn't
stupid.
put this in, they were gonna shut us down.
I think
Who told
thinks
you
you're
that?
calling him stupid.
The,
I think it's a miscommunication.
The
That's
engineer
what
that
I
was
say,
there.
I mean,
You mean the,
why did the township,
yeah.
you know, should have told the folks up
When they
there,
did-
tap into the
Yeah,
sewer.
Alright, so that's the past. Okay, so,
so we're
first of
just
all,
asking for some help in getting, a grant to help us tap in. We've already spent this year, the last 16 months, it'll be close to
You said
$100,000.
South Park was okay with it?
Yes,
I'm only asking because we don't have any commercial businesses tapped into that line. Like, we have a agreement with them for residential, not commercial, so that was gonna be my
yeah,
concern, is
I've
they
already
wouldn't allow
spoken
you.
to the
Then
the
great,
authority over there, they said they don't have an issue with it.
great.
Uh,
I just didn't want you to get halfway there and find out
So
that.
you spent
couldn't.
over $100,000
And we're,
because of what Union Township mandated you to do, or they were gonna shut you
and I
down?
wasn't on the board at that time. Of the rescue, I am now on the board and I'm trying to figure out how to fix this.
alright, so you're still connected to the holding tank right now.
We are.
Alright, so, and it's gonna take you some time at least to connect into the sewage, the public sewage,
Yes.
correct? He can disconnect his lines right now from that holding tank.
Right now, yeah.
And just, I mean, take your, I mean, can you put your gutters like, have them dissipate onto the ground right now?
We can.
So,
That would, at least for now, while you work on this solution, at least you can stop
here's what I said,
getting
go ahead.
stormwater into a holding tank.
In order to alleviate some of the dilemma that you caused by the previous board and the previous engineer, maybe it's best that you talk to him rather than, I mean, to just say, take the line, just dissipate them. I think maybe best to talk to the engineer to figure out where to put the lines on a temporary basis. Does that make
Yeah, we
sense?
have a culvert with a grate on it, on our property, that goes down along 88,
So that would probably be owned by PennDOT, which,
probably.
yeah, so that's gonna be a
Well,
different
He's on
conversation
what's
in
called
terms of
Old
connecting.
Route 88, cause at
Correct.
one time that was a township road that they vacated.
Was it
If
a
I
township
remember-
road or a state road?
I know that the township vacated it, so I don't know. I remember seeing
Yeah,
minutes
that's
where
what
the township
we're trying to
vacated
figure
the
out,
road.
was that a township road or a state road when it was vacated?
I can look into it, but I'm
The
pretty sure,
88
I
is a
don't,
state road.
I wasn't expecting the question, but I'm pretty sure I saw meeting minutes where the township vacated it.
They did.
I've heard that as well,
That's what I'm saying.
That's what I'm
I'm
guessing.
not 100% sure,
because we're spending, that road was in
because if it's a
bad
township,
disrepair.
if it was a township road, then that wouldn't be a state culvert, that's all I'm saying.
So,
That's why the question.
here's the question, can we let TJ help them get a grant and try to get this so that they don't go bankrupt? This is the township's responsibility. It is our responsibility when you run sewage to offer it to everybody there. You can't mandate somebody to cap off, no, they made you take out your septic tanks.
And we had two that we
Construct-
maintained meticulously. Twice a year we had them pumped
yeah.
out and serviced.
And construct a holding tank, I believe you told me with cement, that you spent, how much for?
We spent $30,000 and we had at least $15,000 worth of donated time and labor.
And they were mandated to do that, and now they're gonna go bankrupt, when they should have been offered, they're at the top of the hill, it's gravity flow. This is absolutely outrageous that a taxpayer in this community was put in that position, a business, someone that does good, rescues animals. I've seen, my last 2 dogs came from you. You do great work, and they're an asset to our community. And what has been done is egregious, it's awful.
Did the township ever have a discussion with you folks, or didn't they approach you at all?
When we transferred the ownership of the property, we were told that we had to have the engineer came out. And most of the discussions came through the engineer.
That makes sense.
Okay, so the first thing we have to do is stop the bleeding right now.
Yeah.
Does the board have any problem with TJ going out there and looking what can be done about that?
I have none.
None. And I would like
You
to
have a
see
card
the
to give them?
engineer try to help them get grants. I know you know where to go.
I don't,
Yeah,
You wanna give him your card, TJ?
Sure.
And I apologize, I'll get mine afterwards.
What's that?
Have you
Oh, right, yeah,
contacted
we-
any of the local officials such as,
I don't know, but right now,
Andrew
maybe we just
Cusmer
get
or
that,
any of the
stop the
others?
bleeding right
No,
now.
not.
Maybe the township.
I recommend especially
It
following
goes
up with
to-
Andrew.
There's that overlook over there.
It
That's
goes
over.
to South
He'd be able
Park.
to find
That's
you
South Park.
the money involved
I'm
in
just saying,
that,
well, I'm just saying,
and,
that, so we know that,
I do know
so like
we
John,
can
it's not
contact
Peters Creek.
state senators.
I think the first thing, before you tell him to take the lines out, he needs to know where to put the lines so it doesn't create a liability for himself, for the business, for the
Yes.
company.
Oh, yeah, disconnect the downspout.
But
I mean, we
these
could put a
costs,
leach bed in. I mean, again, that's more cost to us, but most of that would be,
For the rainwater?
Yeah.
They have these things called rain gardens nowadays. They
yeah,
go,
it's basically a holding tank with lines coming
It's
out.
like a French drain go,
Yeah.
yeah, that I have them.
I mean, the costs that they have incurred is due to what was done by Union
August board.
Township. Yes, and those costs may be recoverable to these people. We better help them. You can't do that to a taxpayer. You just can't do that. That's so wrong.
So,
I
Alright,
apologize.
so maybe what you could do, is there any grant monies that you need to know, to help?
Yeah, so I believe I spoke with Kim, maybe one of your colleagues.
Okay, she's one of our volunteers.
Yeah, we had a couple conversations last week, and I suggested that the Pet Rescue come to the meeting tonight to have a conversation with us, and so that we could better understand your situation, and then talk about what could potentially take place. And I did send Kim an email with there were 3 or 4 different programs for, potential funding for projects like this. And I do think, like we talked about, disconnecting those roof drains is, an immediate first step that could be taken to limit the amount of flow that's making it to your holding tank, because really and truly that flow should not be reaching the holding tank. That's stormwater that should be handled separate from sanitary sewage flows. So, I think, with the board's permission, I think it could be prudent to schedule a site visit there and understand the situation a little better, and maybe give them a few recommendations for how they could proceed.
Also, one last suggestion, so we can understand the history of what occurred, if you could put together a synopsis, or have someone saying what occurred when they told you to put your stormwater, your rain pipes into your thing, so maybe give us some history so we can understand it better.
Yeah, we objected at first, but the engineer insisted, and that's when he told us that he'd shut us
Do you
down.
have, like documentation?
I don't know if that was verbal or if
All right.
not. I wasn't there, but I can get,
If whatever documentation you have regarding that, because then maybe we can see if we can,
gives us a better understanding of, yeah.
okay?
yeah, I appreciate your time and your help. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Mr. Barney,